Hello everyone,
and welcome to DMTalks,
a podcast that aims to promote well-being and assist healing, whether that be physically, mentally and spiritually. Ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety, and this podcast hopes to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all the centre of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence? Hello!
Recording outside because for the first time this month it's not pouring with like 5 inches of rain a minute.
Yeah, it's not like torrential rain, which is like ridiculous. But, you know, we love you all 161. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
go on.
It's been pretty rainy across the whole country from what I can gather.
That's true. When I went home briefly, I actually like woke up to it pissing it down, and like not even like a little bit. Like it was like they met Manchester, and Manchester was like, "Oh yeah, have you heard about rain?" And it started raining profusely, and I was just like, "Oh right, great." But who cares? We love you, Manchester. We love your rain. I was actually walking home in the rain because I was like, I accepted it now.
Yeah, I think...
I have no umbrella.
I mean, cycling in the rain kind of sucks.
Oh, I hate it.
But walking in the rain is... You know, it can be all right. Like, if you're like, well, I just know I'm going to have to shower the moment I get home anyway. So once you accept it into your heart that you're going to have to do loads of washing and showering, then it's fine.
No, you're completely true. We should probably tell the team while we're outside, aren't we? We should probably tell them why.
Well, it's the last episode of the season from what I can gather. And also it's our last episode from Manchester.
I know, how sad.
And it's not just Sarah leaving Manchester, it's also me, which I didn't think would happen. I didn't think that I'd actually leave.
I know.
But I am, which it's not because I want to, but it's more just... Well, you know, sometimes life takes you some way.
I know, but it's just mad because, like, well, how long have you been in Manchester? Because I've been here 5 years.
I've been here for 3, but I think, like, a lot of people when they go to uni go home for, like, the whole summer.
Oh, yeah.
But I always have had a place up here
for
my whole time. So I genuinely, when I say I've spent 3 years here, I've spent 3 years here. Like, I was here for the whole pandemic, for better or for worse.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, shit, you were.
Yeah, so I think... but, you know, it's funny because I'd say... when the pandemic started, look, I mean, it's been shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's no two ways about it. It's been shit. I wish it had never happened. But, okay, like, but all of that aside, I think that I've learned so much more about Manchester.
Oh, completely.
Because basically everyone headed home.
Yeah.
So I was, like, up here kind of on my own, although I think you were here still as well. So... but yeah, it's like, especially at the start of the pandemic where it's like you didn't even have bubbles or anything.
Yeah.
So literally everyone was like staying away
everyone
from
was just
each other.
isolating.
Yeah, because I got a bike, which is and I just kind of, I had nothing, there was no other reason to go outside other than for Tesco's than to just
literally
like, hop on the bike and go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'd never been to Heaton Park in like a year and a half of living in Manchester.
Yeah.
I went to Heaton Park. There's a place called the Kersal Wetlands, which was literally a 5-minute walk away from my flat that I hadn't been to.
Amazing.
For like the years that I've been living in Salford, which I'm literally kicking myself over to this day.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many places like in the city centre around. And actually, since I moved into the city centre, like in the last year, like during the whole of lockdown, me and my flatmate would just go out for walks, like in the city centre. We'd have it just almost empty to ourselves.
Yeah. But it's so nice when town was empty. Like seeing Manchester empty, like we'll never see that again.
Nah. Well,
unless we have another lockdown.
Another lockdown.
If we have another lockdown, maybe. But if we will never see like intentional empty Manchester.
As quiet as the first lockdown.
That was insane.
It was insane. But it's like now it's a real adjustment because especially now the weather's got nicer. It's like where are all these people coming from? Where were you for the last year?
Yeah, but that's the thing. So many people who like, I will be at work and so many people were like, oh yeah, it's my first time in the town in 2 years. You know?
Really?
Yeah, you know, and stuff, crazy shit like that. And it just shows you that like, so many people, regardless if they're local or not, see town or see the city centre as like a place for entertainment, whether that's like involving, I don't know, drinks or not. Like there's so much to do in the centre and like, well, people are moving for it.
Like I love the centre because like, I've sort of taken an approach to Manchester for the last like year or so of I'm going to treat Manchester as if I was on like holiday here. Like, what do I want to go and see?
I love that.
Where do I? So like that's why I was always like out exploring the city centre, like getting, like either getting out on my bike or getting out on foot and going and having a like going up on maps and going, oh, I haven't been here before. I wonder what's there. And yeah, you just discover so much that way. So I'm hoping I can do that for where I'm moving to next.
Yes. No, you so can, because it literally starts with you.
Yeah. And I hope as well where you're moving next, you'll be able to do the same.
For sure. Like,
maybe find a way to love it at least half as much as you love Manchester.
Yeah, like I feel like one thing that like I appreciate from living in Manchester is the fact that the fact of green spaces, you know, like with Manchester, it's a very like red brick city, it's a concrete jungle, and like I'm happy to be able to be around greenery again and just be able to be a bit more like in my nature setting. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But alternatively, like I've like found myself here, and I feel like moving on next, like it's only just the start.
It's hard to move on. I guess we can sort of talk about our experiences with uni and stuff and maybe what we've learned with that.
Definitely.
But I think it feels, at least to me, it's almost hard to move on from the place where you sort of got your first taste of independence.
Oh, completely. 100%.
Your first like, and I've learned so much in the last year. You know, as much as it's also damaged parts of me, I think it's also allowed parts of me to grow.
Yeah, definitely. It's a rebirth.
Yeah, I think that it's like trying to go, what have I learned? But actually, do you want to talk about uni stuff and how, like, do you want to do that subject, or do you have any?
I feel like let's talk about uni stuff and decoding the messes.
Yeah.
But we
lean back a bit.
So we're in our next segment, which is the Divine, and that's where we're going to nominate a good thing. I've basically got 3 nominations this week, so I'm just going to start. My first nomination goes to Indiana. They are a babe who's a tattoo artist who's also a podcaster. They run a podcast with 3 other people called Nourish, and it's just more representation for queer, sober, young adults in Manchester, and I absolutely love it. They're a tattoo artist, and they gave me my first tats today.
Oh, that's where you got all your...
all my
cling film.
All my cling film. So if you are on the YouTube family, you'll see me like with all this cling film around me. I went in and got a phoenix tattooed on me.
That's nice.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, I can. I think that obviously the cling film's reflective, but
let me show you an actual picture of it. Pause here. This can be a glitch sound. Oh, this is going to be the last glitch sound. Oh. Okay, look.
Nice.
So I got that there, and I fucking love it. I was terrified, though. I was shitting myself. Like, I nearly passed out because of my nose. I nearly passed out on a nose piercing. I had to lie down for my second one because I could not deal with the pain.
You just don't look.
And, I can't look. And so I was terrified. I was shitting it for my tattoo. And Indiana made it, honestly, the most easiest, enjoyable, like, softest experience. Like, I had served me tea when I got there. We had a lovely conversation, like, took their time with me. Bloody did it so fast. I got it done in, like, like not long at all. The only reason why it would have ever taken longer was because I was anticipating it, and I was like, and they literally were so kind. So thank you so much, Indiana.
And it was so good you got a second one.
Yeah, we got so good. It got a second one. I actually have a symbol that I love. That's on my walls. In my room all the time, and the symbol's kind of cute. It's basically like an arrow with half a semicircle in the middle of it, and do you use Headspace?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, I've probably mentioned it quite a few times on this podcast. There's this animation called a Hole in the Road, and it talks about your thoughts. Like, you're walking in life, and then a thought distracts you, and then you go to the bottom of the hole.
Yeah.
And you're angry at the other hole, and then you do it the next day, and then you do it the next day, and then you do it the next day. But what if you're walking, and you can just take note that the hole is there? Then you can choose to go around it and keep on going. So, like, that... I think I saw that animation for the first time in second year, and it already stuck with me. So I just thought I'd get like a little symbol of what that animation meant to me.
Got to make sure your microphone is up.
Oh, sorry. So I'm really, really happy about that. Do you think that cut off a little bit?
That'd be fine.
Okay, sick. I've got some tattoos today, and I was nervous, but Indiana made me feel sick. So thank you. For my second nomination, I'd like to nominate Anne. Mm-hmm. And Anne is my neighbour. Yeah. Anne is a neighbour that I'm going to be leaving behind in 0161. Anne is green fingers. She's the Queen of Pentacles. She's a baby girl. She actually came round yesterday, and we did our garden a couple months back. We put a bathtub in it with plants. And
that was pretty good.
It was amazing. It was great. We had to repot it yesterday. Actually, you know what? It's down the road. I'll take a picture and we can put it on the group chat like before. But Anne came round, and she's just the godsend. She's just one of those people that really promote community and promote looking after one another, promote like just support, and I just really respect it. So I'm really happy that I met her, and I'm happy that I was able to be a part of her like environment and space, because I think after being a student, being in an environment like that just made it so much more like easier to set in. And it's not even like I was with her every day, but in the moments that I was with her, it was just warm and inviting and comfortable. So that are my nomination for Anne. So thank you, Anne. You're a babe.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm just really impressed with the level of like community on this street.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I think there's something about.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. She does. So we have a street, we have an alleyway, and she does the alleyways for all of our the gardening for all the alleyways. So like all the ones in Rusholme, in Moss Side, like just in this like district, and it's just sick because it's just community and like things moving forward, which I really respect. So thanks, Anne.
There's something to be said for these terraced houses. Like, they're so, like I feel like they do nourish quite a lot of community.
Oh, completely.
Like just to sort of that you share like an alley that's not like a road. You literally just all hang out there and chill there.
Me and Alice were invited to go to the alley later on the other side. Have you seen that alley?
I haven't. Is it not?
I'll show you that alley is pinked up. It has cat lights everywhere.
No way.
Everything.
They put lights down.
We'll show you the alleyway before you go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh God, I got a cough.
I've had a cough today. I had to do a test this morning to make sure it wasn't
scary.
It was just one of those you can pick up from their
pharmacy.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. What's your nomination for The Divine?
So I wanted to nominate the 2 new Taylor Swift albums.
Oh, hello.
Because
Taylor Swift.
They're like kind of a bit of a break from like what she usually did. And like the first time I saw them out, I was like, I don't know whether I'll be into this, because they're sort of more of a country style. Yeah. But like I started listening to them. They're actually just really good. Like they're sort of very it's like there's a song called The Last Great American Dynasty.
Oh God!
Which is about a woman who married like a guy who was sort of so this woman came up. She was like divorced, and she married the like heir of Standard Oil. Mm-hmm. So this is like about 50 or 100 years ago. Yeah, and basically. It's talking about how the town sort of demonized her. Okay. And sort of, everyone just kind of seems to just think she was a gold digger or just hated her. I think he died of a he died of like a heart attack relatively soonish into their marriage. And like basically, just everyone, it talks about how the community sort of how they perceived her, and then the house that her and the husband inhabited was then later bought by Taylor Swift.
Oh my God, this is so like...
So she kind of talks about how, or she sings about how, like she repeats some of the stuff like how this is the maddest woman this town has ever seen. Get a marvelous time ruining everything. But it's like great because you just bring that parallel of like how people perceive women.
Oh, completely. Like think about how like, well, just the world that we're in now, where like women are finally, I mean, women have been saying the truth since the dawn of time, but like women are being a bit more like aggressive with their approach now, or like they don't care about how aggressive they are. So you see like a different, it's like feminism. Regardless of what your feminism is, it's like your feminism has heightened over the past like 5 years, you know, or your views on feminism.
Yeah, I think generally the albums are great because I think that it's basically something that obviously they've been, you know, really successful, but it's sort of like she's showing that she's not really afraid to break from necessarily the music that's expected of her.
Oh, for sure.
But also, like, the sort of whole vibe of the albums and everything has been just sort of breaking from general expectations, and it's led to this sort of there's this trend that's been called cottagecore. Okay. Where it's basically like this sort of almost rejection of, I don't know, sort of like hustle culture, sort of to some extent,
oh my God,
modernity and all of that stuff. But it's like,
what does modernity mean?
Just sort of like, I guess, modern things. But it's not necessarily like in a sort of, let's go back to the 50s kind of way. Like, it's more of a like
creative, do it yourself. Like the fact that people,
it's a very creative movement, and it's also very inclusive. Like it's going, you know, I think the sort of movement's realizing that we are harkening back to an era that wasn't very accepting, but let's take this aesthetic and integrate it with like queer culture, or integrate it with like women or empowerment or creativity.
No, I get it.
And sort of taking this sort of like old stuffy British cottage vibe, but actually creating it into something more creative and forward-looking.
I like that. I respect it because it shows you how like before people followed trends, but now the trend is making it yourself, and like making it yourself could be making a sick innovative TikTok, or like it could be like making tights into a top, or making like 10-10 food with like 4 items. Do you know what I mean? Like people are so much more inspired by what you could do with what you have instead of following the trend that it is. So like I like that. Yeah, that's a great nomination. I said I had 3 nominations earlier, but I can't remember the third one. So for the last Divine for Volume 1, do you want to talk about some of your favourite bits?
I'm trying to think sort of like, well, obviously, I think probably the best moment was episode 2 where Kanem talks about toxic positivity.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
That was a good rant. That was a good rant.
I think that rant actually helped me solidify what I wanted for DM Talks, because even though I'm a spiritual person, I will never spiritual bypass like a relationship, a situation, whatever. And toxic positivity is so entrenched within spirituality. It pisses me off. It's so like, oh no, everything's fine. The law of vibration will help you get there. Fuck off. Like the law of vibration didn't mean that I'm supposed to go for the events that I do to make me a better person. And it's even more sticky when people bring race into it, because it's like, you're telling me that I'm using racism for personal development and you're not. Go fuck yourself. So like toxic positivity by Kanem, that was 10-10. Thank you, Kanem.
Toxic positivity, that's great. I'm trying to think of any other moments. I think who I was going to choose,
I've got one.
Oh no, I know. Obviously, Janicia was iconic.
Yeah, Janicia's a babe. We love you, Janicia.
Yeah, she's just great. Her Instagram is great.
Did you see her TikTok?
I haven't.
One of her TikToks got 1 million views.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards.
That's pretty great.
It was so funny because we were at work and they just left. Shanicia just left work, and I went on their story and their TikTok had been put on a meme page on Instagram, and I was like, "Bitch, you famous."
Yeah, but I think if there was a funny episode, Dina.
Oh,
that
Dina.
whole thing is literally just cracks you up.
Dina.
That episode is just... She's just hilarious.
She's so funny. But the thing is, she's funny, but she doesn't know that she's funny. She knows that she's funny, but she also is so direct and so honest that it's only authenticity with Tina. And I think she was a great person to have on. She was actually hilarious.
That energy is the same, off.
Yeah, on or off camera, she's exactly the same. So it's just what you see, what you get. And I really, really am grateful that, I got to interview her. I got to interview all these wonderful peoples. One of my favourite moments was when it was Microaggressions episode with Tasha Bailey. And I heard a sound and you got the inspiration to do a really funny edit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say I heard a sound, then the music goes dark, everything got scary, and I was like, was it a sound?
Halloween house.
Was it a ghost? Was it Sarah? Find out next week on DM.Talks. And I hid under the sofa. And
that was pretty funny.
People. I thought it was fucking hilarious. So many people have messaged me and been like, oh, I love that moment. So I really enjoyed that. What else did I enjoy? Trying to think. We've done so much. I think
it's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to think of it on the spot, but I do think that number one, the journey. Number two, that moment. Is there anything else that really, really stands out?
Yeah, let's go for one more nomination.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think what stands out for me. I don't know. There's so much.
There's a lot. I think that the one episode that was actually really quite popular was the one with Jack.
I was about to just say that. Meditate to Elevate.
Meditate to Elevate. That was one of those that just kind of just did really, really well. I think a lot of people liked it. That was that was a really nice episode, and it's for episode 10 as well, which feels like an age away, but it was actually more recent. So
I think a top tier moment with me, I think, is just I've had many moments with her, but this babe Rebecca.
Yeah, I was going to say Rebecca.
I did. What episode? I'm actually looking at the caucasity of it all. That was hilarious. It was hard and it was direct, but Rebecca is so funny and so me and her bounce well off each other.
Yeah,
and I really felt it on that episode because even the little rap that we did at the end, there was just so many moments where it pushed me to think more. It pushed me to add some detail, and I learned so much from her. So Rebecca and the caucasity of it all, because that was such a releasing episode for me, and it was actually was it before George Floyd or was it not?
It was after.
Okay, it was after. Well, but the thing is, it was always going to come.
Yeah,
that was the weird thing. It was it was always going to happen. It was literally in my notes in March, but I just didn't have the right name for it. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's crazy to think. I won't dwell on it too much, but I feel how Jesus was sort of we have before Christ and after Dom and I. I feel like George Floyd kind of blew up into that because I think.
No, but
it's not that stuff like that hadn't been happening before, but it's because this time it was it was almost like the quiet part out loud.
Oh yeah.
There was nothing you could say to say that wasn't something that had just happened. You literally couldn't deny that. The video was there. There was no weapon. He was handcuffed. He was powerless. There was nothing you could say. So I think that for that, it was kind of a turning point where a lot of people actually went, you know what? I think a lot of people who've been on the edge of Yeah, I understand.
Or doubt, or people who were like, what are you talking about? They just saw it for what it is now. Yeah. And like, no, you're right, because even the way that I talk about things, I go post George Floyd and pre George Floyd, because like the difference, and I even brought this up in the last episode with Rebecca with Fix Up Look Sharp, because it's that whole thing of like, here are the information, here are the dots, I'm going to need you to connect them, because like I've been connecting them for a hot minute, you know? Yeah. And yeah, I think that prompted more people to speak up, speak out, and we're moving forward. And if that means Babylon is burning, then Babylon is burning.
Yeah, I think I'd say for myself as well, I was like, oh shit, this is really bad. Like, I knew stuff was going on before, and I didn't deny that stuff was going on
Yeah, but you just weren't aware.
But it just kind of changed it, like, I guess it changed my, like, the feeling, like, it just added, like, it just doubled my, the intensity of which I recognised these things. Mm-hmm. And I think it sort of massively, I don't know, like, I think it just gave everyone so much. Yeah, so that was obviously a massive event of the roller coaster ride that has been
for sure
2020 or 2021 as well.
No, for sure. I think actually this is a great moment to take it into Decoding the Messes. Yeah. Decoding the Messes is the segment where we unpack things that we consider mess, whether that be online or offline, sort of following on to like the events. I don't know, there's like George Floyd was one of many social justice events that happened in the span of the past year, you know, and it's like how we move with that. I created this podcast to make information accessible. I created this podcast to make information relatable. Like, I don't want any dark-skinned women being confused by what's happening to them. I want them to hear that it's happening on a podcast and be like, oh, okay, people are mad, you know? And I guess the first thing that I want to talk about in Decoding the Messes is this idea of like nurturing your authentic voice. And I think that's something that me and you have come into over the podcast. Like we've been forced to, innit? Like, we're doing a podcast. And it would be pretty shit if we don't. And that's come with trials, tribulations, learning about your boundaries, but also like being patient with yourself, because like I'm not, even the way that I speak in the first episode compared to this episode is so much more chilled. It's like, hey, how you doing? Like, welcome back. How you started to listen. You're gonna listen to this tea. But the first episode, I'm like, hi guys.
I think that that's probably also the studio was very well. I guess it just put a lot of seriousness into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, I mean, it is scary to start like getting used to the sound of your own voice is a process that takes a while.
For sure.
Because you start off thinking you like either sound like I guess if you're a guy, you think your idea of your sound is like, yes, sir, and then you actually listen to your voice that's like a fucking chipmunk. And then you're like, you have to sort of square that circle. But then eventually you adjust to, I was talking to Joe about this, you adjust to thinking that you just to understanding what your voice actually sounds like, and eventually your voice starts sounding like what it actually is.
No, but it's true. Like, literally, if you know me, I talk, and this is like, I think my voice now is how I talk in real life. Yeah. However, I remember like in school, let's say, when I have to talk in front of people, I hated it. So like, I would be like, hi guys, like it would be very like soft, and like that's not me.
Yeah, you try and make it as, I think,
palatable
it's like,
as it is, but fuck it. Like,
I think it's probably one of the forms of dysphoria that everyone seems to get impacted by. Mm-hmm. It's like getting used to what your voice actually sounds like is like quite difficult.
For sure. How do you think you did? How did you get used to your own voice? Because I think it's
not. I think you just have to. I think you just have to go. Like, you just have to go. This is horrendous. Like, well, I think part of it is my voice has changed to a point where it's not like quite as bad as it used to be. But also, you just have to get used to it.
Yeah,
like it's just hard to do.
I mean, with the editing that you definitely do, and the editing that I do, like we just had to. Like you're gonna have to get over your voice because it's the voice that's needed for the show.
Yeah.
And like, do you know who the Slumflower is?
No.
So they're an influencer. Well, are they? I don't know if they're an influencer. They're just a baby girl. They're on social media. I think their name's Shadira Egaru, and they've got this. Have you heard of Skillshare?
Yeah, I've heard of Skillshare.
So they made a class with Skillshare called Nurturing Your Authentic Voice, and I decided to take on it, and it was really good because it talked about like your. I can't remember what was the word that was used, but it was like your voice and then your authentic voice. So your voice might have been influenced by society. It might be influenced by your parents. It might be influenced by external involvement. It might be influenced by institutions. It might be influenced by anything and everything. But your authentic voice is the one that comes naturally to you. And like, unfortunately, as we grow up in the world, there's so many limitations and restrictions that it sort of takes us away from our authentic voice. So this workshop, I would encourage it like to anyone because it's really warming and what's the word? It makes you realise that looking after yourself is going to be a lifelong journey, but it's your relationship towards it. There's like, it's a hour workshop, but it's divided into like 10 minutes and you do like a different thing for each like workshop. And there's a bit about having those difficult conversations or talking about boundaries or looking after your 4-year-old self, like all of these things. And it made me realize that everybody has insecurities, but it's what you do with them that determines how your authentic voice is going to be presented. And I really like how well, I think that's helped me become a better reader, a better listener, a better talker, a better presenter, because I'm able to put myself in other people's shoes, but then also know nothing's that deep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like nobody thinks about you as much as you think they do. And when you get that into your head and just look after your voice, your authentic one, you thrive.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can't not have heard of Skillshare at this point.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god! Just imagine if we get if we do something with Skillshare. We're manifesting it. We probably will because they're all on. They're like they go to everybody's podcast. Like, oh my god. So I know that you wanted to talk about your experiences in uni and recommendations. So recommendations for those who are going to uni.
Yeah, for those who come to uni, I think that I kind of thought it would be a good topic to talk about, sort of looking back at our time in Manchester, looking back on these last few years for you, technically a couple of years for me, but bordering on a few. I think that it's sort of talking about, I guess, I sort of want to prepare people a little bit if they are listening to this before going to uni for like, there's a lot of expectation versus reality for uni more than almost anything else that you'll do.
100%. Don't think that university is going to be all like shits and giggles and like friendship groups and fucking going out, because it's bullshit. Like, you're on your own most of the time. Sorry, I just completely interrupted you.
I think that I don't like, sometimes people have a great experience at uni and I think that's fantastic. That's true. But I think
in reality,
in a lot of the times, I don't regret going to uni.
I don't either.
Get me wrong. Like, I'm glad that I went. I've learned a lot. But I think that it's sold to people that after all your troubles at school, like, uni will, solve all your problems. You'll, like, come out of your shell. You'll be so much more confident. And it will all just come naturally to you.
Exactly.
It's almost like there won't be any... And as well, like, people go, oh, well, I barely did any work at uni. Yeah. And then you go to your course. And for my course, it was like my first year actually was kind of hit the ground running. There was a lot of content to cover.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, wait, I actually have to do work as well.
Yeah. No, but it's mad because it's... I literally made this direct message the other day. Things don't get better, you do. And that is such a testament to university, like you said, you expect that things will come to you naturally. Everyone thinks that things will come to them naturally, and that's not the fucking case.
Yeah.
You put yourself in those places, it might work, it might not. You're either on the right path or you're on the long path, and it's those lessons in between.
Yeah, I think because with uni, it's sort of almost sold to you that you'll instantly find your people, and then sometimes you just don't. Or sometimes, like, you know,
Sorry, I just said that. It just sounded so shady.
Yeah, I was living, you know, with some of my flatmates, like, it was actually sometimes after I moved out of the flat that I was then actually, our friendship became really good. It's like, so sometimes it's like, you know, sometimes just unexpected things can happen. You end up like not necessarily making it. But yeah, I think it's like, I'd say to anyone who's going to uni is don't expect all the friendships. Don't expect that you're just going to fall into the right groups of people or, you know, everything from day one.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. And if that does happen, it might mean...
You might be lucky.
You might be lucky, but there might be... You might think they're the right people in first year, but they might be the wrong people in second year.
And then you really try to make it work.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, actually...
It's just by force.
Toxic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Literally, like, even in second year, I literally lived with racists.
Yeah.
I lived with racists because I wanted to, what's the word?
Just make things work, babe.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, it won't be that bad. Bruv, they were racist. They were literally straight up racist, but I didn't want to trust my gut. Like...
Yeah, it's like, it's so crazy, like, at uni. I think that, as well, there's sort of sold, like, the student lifestyle, which at the moment is like completely dead because of COVID.
Yeah, like,
but,
to be fair, it might be different.
But even before COVID, because you graduated before
yeah,
COVID,
I graduated in 2019.
Yeah. I had a year and a half of uni with no COVID, so I think we can sort of speak on our experiences of what pre-COVID uni was like. But I think that even then, the sort of idea that you'll go out every night and you'll love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of
literally like. But the thing is, like, even that whole idea of going out all the time, like, yes, that is fun, and I partied with the most of them in fucking first year. It was probably unhealthy, but it's the fact that, like, you feel like you're missing out. You feel FOMO at uni is ridiculous. But the thing is, what are you missing out on? You are literally yourself. What are you missing out on?
Yeah, I think that, like, I had super bad FOMO in first year, but then I realised, like, for me, clubbing, I couldn't make it work for me.
Yeah.
Like, that was something that I just couldn't make work. I was just like, I don't actually enjoy this.
No, fair.
And I actually found, for me, what I enjoyed was just gigs.
Yeah, no, that's one thing.
I'm like, I get to go and see an artist I like. I know all the songs, and I get to, like, leave and be in bed by 12.
Yeah.
Yay!
That is actually one of the best things about Manchester.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I've seen. I've seen Lauryn Hill. I've seen Georgia Smith. I saw Loyal Kana. I've seen O'Shan. Like, I've seen No Name. Like, I've seen so many beautiful, incredible artists that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to if I wasn't living in a city. So thank you, Manchester.
Yeah, who have I seen since Manchester? It's like over 10 gigs that I've been to. I've seen the 1975 twice.
Nice.
So
is the main character the actor in It's a Sin?
No, that's Years and Years.
Okay, cool.
So 1975 twice, Churches, Kim Petras, Charlie XCX.
Apparently Charlie XCX was fat. Apparently that was, like, crazy busy.
Oh, that one. So I think she did 2 nights.
Oh, yeah.
So she did the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
So
my friends went to that one.
Yeah, I went to it was really good. Mm-hmm. That was it was just great. But it's funny because in a way, like, a lot of the music she does is club music, but I just don't seem to enjoy club.
No, fair enough. But
yeah.
Like, have you ever had a gig have you ever been to a gig at Band on the Wall?
In a band?
Like, there's a venue in Northern Quarter called Band on the Wall.
I haven't.
Oh my God, I wish you did before you left. It is the best venue for a gig. Like, it looks like a small amphitheatre. It looks like Albert Hall, but it's like 10 times smaller.
Yeah.
And, like, I've seen some of the best gigs I've ever seen in my life there. I saw Akunaru, which is a beautiful African-American singer, rapper there. That was my first concert in Manchester, and I literally cried from the happiness. even Ocean is two black women. They met in NYU, fucking New York, like New York University, and now they've got a band together. Now they're traveling the world, and they provide such beautiful spiritual music to the masses. And I was able to see them. I even met them afterwards. Do you know what I mean?
That's
these are
sick.
women. These are two women that I'm obsessed with. Like, that literally got me out. You know, in second year when I told you about that racist house, I listened to that album every single fucking day. You know, and then to see them at the end of third year, it was like, it came back around, you know, it came like,
Yeah, but I think it's like, I think that's the great thing is like, just because like, even if you don't like gigs, we both like gigs, but even if that's still not for you, like, I'd say just go, like, if you just want to go and explore somewhere, like, also I'd say one big lesson I've learned, especially after the pandemic, is if you want to do something, don't be afraid to just go and do something on your own.
Tell them.
Now, I know sometimes some people don't necessarily feel safe. I know especially like women sometimes might not feel safe going on their own. But I'd say if you feel confident and you feel like it will be like safe to go, don't feel ashamed of doing something on your own.
Yeah.
Like if you just want to go to like a park or something, or you just want to go to like I know, or you just want to travel to like another city and go and explore, like if you feel like you have the confidence to go and do that, like go and do it, and don't feel bad that you're not surrounded by people all the time.
It's true, because like, I think if you wait for others, or if you get into the trap of waiting for others, you're never going to be satisfied.
You're never gonna be able, and I was so glad.
You're never going to be able to move.
I was so glad because especially sort of where I perfected my like just going and doing stuff is so in 2019 I went to New York for a second time.
By yourself?
So not fully by myself.
I was going to say, Josh,
so
wow.
my dad and my stepmom were going and watching WWE.
Sick.
So they were busy the whole week.
Oh my
I saw
God.
them like twice.
I'm so jealous.
But and then I stayed with my uncle and my aunt.
Sorry, can I ask, what WWE was it?
It was WrestleMania.
Oh, fuck. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Me and my brothers all used to, I thought I was Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, they got
so jealous.
At WrestleMania, they got like some of the top tickets. They're like 5 rows from the front.
Oh my God, mate!
And they,
if I saw
my
the
dad
Undertaker,
was on like Nottingham Post for like holding up a Nottingham Forest flag.
I love that,
and they could see it on the TV.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think they got to meet like a few. I think they might have met Roman Reigns.
I'd have to see a picture of him. If he's a newbie, I wouldn't know. But like Undertaker, Kane, Rey Mysterio, Batista.
I'll see if I can. I'll find my dad's.
These
Instagram.
are my homies.
Post so much on Instagram.
Me and my brothers used to buy WrestleMania, like on Sky, when we were like growing up, because I was like, Dad, please, can we have the box office, please? Like, we literally were begs. Oh no, do you know what was fat? Royal Rumble. Sorry, I completely distracted myself from this conversation.
Go for it. I think this is a great. I think this is a. Oh, I've got to go through all the posts. Right, here we go.
Shall I talk?
I've got to find the photos where they were actually like with.
Well, I can tell people about my favorite move that Rey Mysterio did. It was his signature. It was called the 369. So he would have someone, right? So his opponent would be in between the two middle wires, you know, the wires that are kept around the face. He would put them in there and he goes 1, 2, 3, and then he runs round and he literally jumps and kicks them in the face with his feet. And it was mad. It was mad. I was just like, whoa,
so
techers.
Good. I just love like because it's like people go like, oh well, it's like stage, it's practice, and like, I bloody hope so. They kill each other otherwise. This is my dad and Seth Rollins.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I love it.
And then it's my stepmom's a main like fan. Like she used to know them. Like she used to watch it like when she was a kid. So that's what, Drew McIntyre.
I recognise his face, but I don't know why. Is that your stepmom?
No, those aren't my that isn't my stepmom. That's a wrestler. And where's... So yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty cool because they were there for like the whole week. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was basically staying with my uncle. Mm-hmm. He was working and stuff during the week, so we went out for some meals and stuff. But other than that, like, it was mostly like just up to me to go and do stuff. Like, if I wanted to go and do something, I had to go out and do it on my own, because like otherwise. So I think I started just sort of gaining the confidence to go, you know what, I'm actually just going to go to this place. So I would just look on Google Maps and I go like, oh, do I want to go like downtown today? And then I just hop on the subway and go there. Sick. And it was just like kind of like quite a nice experience. And then from there, later that year, I went to Chicago again. Well, yeah, I went to Chicago for the first time. It makes me sound like I went again. But yeah, I got sort of used to
moving alone.
New York. The trip to New York was the first time flying long haul on my own. Mm-hmm. But I'm sort of quite used to flying on my own at this point. But so I guess I'm probably in the higher percentage of people who are like happy traveling on their own. Especially like, yeah, I had to change flights in Dublin, which was annoying when my flight was delayed and I missed my connection in Dublin. But they rebooked me onto another flight, and I got like 250 euros back.
Oh, nice! Well, and you got some money back. Sick.
So the flight cost me like 100 quid.
Oh my god! Great. Yeah, no, that's sick.
100 quid return to Chicago. It was great. So yeah, it's like, but yeah, you might go to uni and like, you might find that actually you just want to like work part-time, save up some money and go traveling, like over the summer or something. Like, don't feel like you have to live a specific lifestyle to be a student. I know sometimes the finances can put pressures on you to do certain things. But, like, don't feel like you have to spend, like, 50 quid on a night out and then just eat pot noodles for the rest of the week.
Exactly.
Like, if you want to just get, like, I don't know, like, if you just want to get takeout every night instead, that's probably quite expensive. Well,
that's still probably quite expensive.
But if you want to go down to local Chinese and get yourself, like, some chips and some curry sauce every other day, then and you don't want to, like, spend loads of money. But if you want to spend loads of money going out and eat pot noodle for the rest of the week, that's great as well. Like, but just don't feel
like you have to.
Don't feel like you have to live someone else's university experience.
Yeah, the like stereotyped or the presented uni experience. Just live your uni experience and have fun with it.
And don't also in first year, it's so cringy in Freshers Week, especially when you look back on it. How many people would just... I know this literally sounds like the sort of, like, education lessons we'd have in year 8, but don't just go and do, like, a load of random jokes to impress people.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's just dumb.
Like, I think that... you know, especially when you first arrive at uni, like, first, you don't really know people. Like, you don't know whether you can trust them to look after you should you get in a state. And remember that if you're going out drinking as well, is that you can't necessarily trust them not to just abandon you in the middle of the city throwing up on some random street.
Exactly.
Which does happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and obviously that can put you in a very vulnerable situation. So just be careful to not let your guard down too much with people you don't know, and don't immediately start trusting them not to just like completely.
Exactly. I feel like
you have to just sort of be aware, like, that, you know, whilst you're still getting to know people, that you need to make sure that you're able to look after yourself. Yeah. And you're in a position to always be able to do that.
Following on from what you said, it's like nobody is as active as you. So nobody, like, you can't, just because you don't do something one way doesn't mean that the friend that you're out with will do something that way. And like, experience or even your experience might be so different to each other's that you guys don't even realize when your boundaries are crossed because that hasn't been presented. It's just like, it's an invisible rule that you put on yourself. It's like, oh, I wouldn't do it like that, but I wouldn't do it like that. And like, then both of you are just a bit like, well then, like, where do we go from here? Because we're not following each other's metrics. We're different people. But the fact that we didn't give ourselves trials and tribulations and, I don't know, go out for dinner or had a chat, we just went to Yes and did a whole lot of shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this is everybody's using experience, but I think people need to take into account how... I think people need to take into account that not everybody is as active as them. So they need to literally put their needs first in a way that is a bit more appropriate. Like, I mean this to say, like, if I have 6 of something, I'm not going to give Josh 3, right? If I have 9 of something, I'm going to keep 6 for myself and then I'm going to give him 3. That sounds odd, but it's, well, when I've learned in tarot and learn about like tangible things, there is an appropriate way to share. And I think in like the first thing that I said about like sharing something with you when I only have half, it might mean that now I'm hoarding my resources elsewhere for someone else, or I'm going to make myself short for next month, or I'm going to make myself disadvantaged in some state. But it's not even deep like that. It's just making sure that you are okay, making sure that you can sustain yourself, and then using your excess to feed others or share with others.
And that goes to like not lending loads of money to someone who then disappears after the first semester.
Exactly.
Like, just be like, even if they seem like a great friend, just don't spend your entire student loan funding someone else's drug habit.
Exactly.
If you're going to fund a drug habit, at least have it be your own.
Do you know what I fucking mean? Honestly. But that's one thing that actually pissed me off at uni. Like, how so many people, like... It, not even like with drugs or whatever, but like, let's say we're all at uni, we're all broke, we're all literally using those student discounts, and let's say you're my housemate and I keep on going to you for help. Aren't you struggling? Are you not a student as well? Just because you know how to look after your money better doesn't mean that I need to take advantage of that. And I learned that very, very quickly in literally my first couple of weeks, where people are like, oh yeah, no, I'll get that. No, I'll get myself. Because I don't want to borrow. Ooh, I don't want to borrow, I don't want to lend, beer.
We'll just hold it up.
We're not going to hold it up. We're going to put it back.
Yes. Just leave it.
ASMR. ASMR. It's going to just fall again, isn't it?
Let's just... we can just hold. We can...
I don't know. I just feel like we pull it again. Let's just throw it over.
Let's just throw most of it. The 50-50.
But I just want to see the I don't know, fam. That's what we're here for. That's what the people...
That's all right.
Are here for. Amazing.
Right, so I think that... I sort of wanted to talk briefly about... I think we're just going to...
Yeah, it's gone. I don't know, fam. I don't fucking know.
I think... I also want to talk about courses and actually, because at the end of the day, like, you are actually getting a degree. So, I think that's worth mentioning. I think that a lot of people, if you just want to mess around or fuck around and have a good time, I realise I can't actually swear.
Yeah, swear. Mate, I swear literally every single episode.
Yeah.
Like,
I was just like, but yeah, if you just want to like fuck around and find out or whatever, you don't have to go to uni to do that.
Oh, 100%. You'll just do that and be in debt.
Like, honestly, you can just like, I don't know, just get a job and just like enjoy your off time and just do stuff then. Because I see so many people who go to uni and they're just not interested in the course, or they're not interested in studying, and it just causes them more stress. And the money that you get from the student loans isn't even that great anyway.
Not at all. You'd probably
be better off working like at a shop or something.
Yeah, and doing what you want to do outside of work.
If you want to go and have like, if you want to have enough money to go out anyway, you have to work something usually. So it's like, you might as well just like not bother going to uni if you're not into it. Because a lot of schools and a lot of colleges, because it makes them look good, push so many people into uni.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's just like the uni pipeline. And a lot of people, because it's like independent study, or it's like, you sort of expected to have a passion for the course or an interest in the subject, it can make it really hard if you don't have those things.
But one thing that I do say to counter that is that like people go to uni for the independence as well.
Yeah.
Like I think that, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that I like psychology means that I was going to do the psychology degree. The fact that psychology is one of the most broadest subjects ever is sick, because I could, if tomorrow I want to be a health psychologist, I could. If I wanted to work in human resources, I could. Like, psychology is one of those subjects that I can literally go into anything. And like, but do you know what was the motivating factor to get out of? Was just to get out of my town. Just to get out of my town. That's what I wanted to go to uni. I wanted to go to somewhere far away, somewhere up north, but somewhere accessible and fun. That was.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That was like a big motivation for me. Like, I wanted to, but it was sort of as well is I was sort of going down one route where I thought I was going to do the film production course, and I just didn't feel it. Yeah, like I was just like, well, I've been making videos at college and it's fine, but like it's just not for me. And I found a course that sort of, I was like, I want to do something with music, but I feel like I don't have enough knowledge that area already. Like I already felt like I've been shoved into a corner, just how like my education had gone to that point. So I was like, I really want to do something that does both like music and also video. And I was also like, but I also just kind of want to do some techie stuff. Yeah. And then I found my course, which was all of those things. What was your course called? Professional Sound and Video Technology. There you go. So if you guys want to do what Josh does, Professional Sound and Video Technology. The course is discontinued now. Okay, well this course is discontinued now. You can do find similar courses somewhere. But it's just good to know. There's no course that has all of those things in, but there's broadcast. Generally, I'd actually say if you want to go into media, doing some of the techie stuff can actually be like, because a lot of people are kind of like, especially when they start like doing filmmaking, they end up like drooling over cameras and stuff. And then they think, oh, but I actually have to focus on the creative side. And it's like, no, you can actually go, and there's a lot of jobs available in the media industry that are basically drooling over equipment. No, but like but the thing is, you can do that. All that you're doing off camera just helps on camera. Like I'll use my housemate as an example. My housemate Zoe, she's a photographer. She's 10/10 photographer. Yeah. She's also a model. So when she goes in to do shoots now, she's able to use the information of what she would want on the screen from her perception and then mimic it as the model. Do you know, well, mimic it as the model. And I think it's that whole idea of having something, if you can have something behind the scenes, or if you know a little bit of something behind the scenes, then you can take it to in front of the screen and it will just be a bit more translatable. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll be a bit more like enriched because the audience is I don't know, it's gonna be more va-va-voom. It's gonna be like more pizzazz, you know? Yeah, and I mean, like, I think, I think with media especially, it can be hard to break into, but there are areas of it, I noticed like, I can't say exactly what job I'm not going to say exactly what job I'm doing. Yeah. But like it sort of is in the area of like tech support, system integration. Hey. So it's not necessarily like a broadcaster, but it's at a company that provides for many broadcasters. But I love that. So because look how young you are and you've already got this position. Yeah. You don't understand who the people that you're going to meet in this position, because a job is not even just what you're doing, it's how you're networking and how you can use the resources to your advantage. So big up yourself, Josh. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely like, I think, even if you feel like what you're doing is, either niche or I think don't be afraid to take a year out and make sure what you're doing is right. Yes. If you want to do that. And also don't be afraid to just move to a city without necessarily going to uni. Like, you don't need uni to establish you in a new place. Tell them. Even though it's a little bit harder. But also a lot of people just find themselves going to uni. They go there for like 2 weeks and say, I hate this, I don't want to do this, and then drop out. Yeah. And then they're back to square one again, essentially. So it's like, if you think that uni isn't going to be for you, you can it's hard, but you can set up in a new place. I've got a friend who...
But you can set up any... Like, uni is not the be-all and end-all.
Yeah.
You know, like, just... Don't get me wrong, it's benefited us, and we've liked the experience, but we've also realised its costs as well. There's so many people I know that haven't gone to uni and are smashing life. You know, because fortunately for them, they just knew what they wanted to do a bit quicker. So they were able to put their focus in like sooner. But that isn't to say that their work ethic isn't any different, you know?
Well, it's like, you know, it's different strokes for different folks as well. Like, some people don't necessarily thrive in an academic environment, and that's okay. Like, you know, I think everyone's different in what they want and what things they're interested in. And, you know, just because school's bashed into you that being great at maths or great at science or great at writing like massive 3,000 word essays and staying up all night and doing that, like, at the end of the day, like, if you just love staying up like all night and tinkering with bikes or tinkering with computers, or, you know, if you love staying up all night and like drawing or painting or just doing like something like that, you know, I'd say definitely try and go into something you love, and don't necessarily just focus on something because you think that it will get you a good job. Yeah. Because I think it's good to always have a career in mind, but if you literally just want to do something for the career, just take an apprenticeship. Literally. Like, that's the best way of doing it.
It's mad because like you don't even know what that apprenticeship will lead to. I'll use one example. Okay, so I won't say his name just in case, but I've got this one friend, they got an apprenticeship as an electrician when they were like 16, worked their way up, and by the time that they were like 19 or like 20, they'd finished their apprenticeship. Yeah. But the apprenticeship was bloody on the Queen's grounds in Windsor. Do you know what I mean? And now, since then, they can be an electrician anywhere, but with all that money that they looked after themselves, they're able to expand that and build more businesses opportunities for themselves. Yeah, and I think, shout out you know who you are.
I think it's like, and as well, like being stuff like an electrician, like I hate how much... It's so ironic, though, because a lot of people who work these typical working class jobs are actually raking it in. Oh, like, mate, if you want to lay bricks, you can actually make pretty good bank doing that. But the thing is,
it's like...
So, like, just go for it.
No, exactly. And, like, if it's that whole thing, like, they need... This whole idea of judgment needs to stop, because it's like, you got people in different tool sets, but we need the bricklayers, we need the plumbers, we need the psychologists, we need literally every single one of you to build a community. So are you going to fuck with us, or are you going to not?
I mean, look, we wouldn't be sat here right now if it wasn't for, you know, Victorian brickies.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
So, like, I think that, you know, I just take, like, whatever career, like, don't feel like you have to push yourself through academics. Don't feel like you have to push yourself through, like, corporate positions to be able to be successful.
Tell them.
There's, honestly... Like, a lot of the problems I think we have now is that a lot of people think that they have to do that, but actually some of the office jobs can pay worse than some just like practical.
And some also jobs can be so monotonous that it actually takes the energy out of you. It takes the creativity out of you, and like that's not fair. You have one life, enjoy it.
But yeah, I think like I'd say if you're thinking of going to uni, I'd say the first thing is you should go is, does this subject interest me? Before you, let's think if we could create a checklist of things people should consider before, and you know, before they go to uni. Yeah. I think I'd say before you sign, like before you know, confirm your place and go for it, I'd say, am I actually interested in this subject? Do I know roughly what careers this subject could provide if I'm going to it with a career in mind?
Okay, let me tweak your question. What opportunities could this provide? Because it's like, right now, I went for a psychology degree. I could perfect a topic in a master's and go into that line of field, or I could be sitting here talking to you, putting all of that information in accessible format, and now you're learning on a podcast, or I could do some volunteering. All of them are going to help me.
All of the opportunities, because like, you don't even necessarily you don't need to have a career focus. I think, you know, you can just say, I'm just going to work whatever job gets me by. But I actually did this volunteering thing that I really like. That's my, massive passion for me. So I think that, like, if you can, if you don't know what you want out of life, like, if you know what you want out of life, that's great. If you don't know what you want out of life, just be honest with yourself about that.
Yes, 100%.
And just make sure that the next move that you're making is something you want to do, because a lot of people say go to study law because they're like, oh, well, I can become a lawyer and make loads of money, and then they kind of don't really think it out. Like, they only think about it just because, like, they don't really know what they want, and they just go, oh, well, I'll do law because it'll probably pay a load of money. But it's like, actually,
you're right,
it doesn't necessarily, and only really the best people in that field get. And it's like, just don't do it because you think you should.
I agree with you, and I don't agree with you. I agree with you because people might go into that profession thinking that they're going to get the job, and you're right, the best of the best will get the job. Like, there's so much competition. However, I also think law is such transferable skills. You have to be like
but go into it because you want to study it, not because you think you should study it.
No, completely. Like, it's funny you say that because literally all of my family were ushering me to do law, like all of them, and I was just like, I will do what I want. Who's going to be in debt? Me. You know, and I'm happy that I did my course, but I'm so, like, psychology's, it's hard, but the freedom with the variety is, do you know, that's the nice thing about psychology. There's always something new that I could learn about,
right? And you could sort of push it in a way that you're, like, more interested in at that time. And I think it's like, I'd say, if you are really tired at school, it may be just the subjects you're studying, but if you think that I'm really tired of this, I hate academics, I just, don't go to uni. Like, there's nothing to say you can't do it in the future.
Like, exactly that. Like, the amount of
and you don't have to do it when you're young as well, because you might go and not even enjoy the lifestyle that much.
Mate, I met so many people. Like, don't get me wrong, I met people my age group, but I met so many mature students doing psychology, and like they were grown. Like, they were out here doing their shit. They weren't fucking around. They were great with my tutorials. I tell you that.
Like it. You might find it a lot easier, but also, I'd say, make sure whatever course you want to do is you're actually interested in and might, and also if you want a specific career, make sure that course does kind of help you towards that and not like just sort of delay your life for 3 years.
Like, no, but
for
sure.
Like, also when it comes to sort of moving away from home, it's like, make sure that that's a decision that you want to make because you want to make it. Or if it's staying at home, make sure that's a decision that you want to make because you want to make it, and not because your friends are going, oh, come here, it'll be sick, it'll be great, or your parents saying, oh no, don't leave, I want you to stay in the house for a bit longer. Like, don't let either of those sway your decisions. Like, make your decisions based on, where do I want to live? Like,
no, for
make those kind of decisions. Don't let relationships, whether that be platonic or not platonic, influence.
Can I just interrupt you? I'm going to go really close to the camera. You might not find the love of your life at uni. I just want to break that down to you, because like you might not meet the love of your life at uni. You might just meet your fuck buddy. You might meet the nearest situationship. Yes, you might meet the person you marry, but you might not. Like, there's a lot of people at uni, and I just want to say that to you straight in the camera, so you can see my eye and see me when I say this, because so many people.
I'm going to repeat this. You might not find the person you marry at university. I know this is controversial, and you may not want to hear this, but you may not also find your BFFs at uni.
You probably won't. To be fair, no, I'm lucky. I found Canaan at uni. He's the best friend for life.
I found a lot of good friends at uni, but also you might not.
You also
might not find them in the first week.
Exactly. So chill the fuck out and do your assignments and do your reading.
But also, like, so I kind of want to come back to, obviously once you're at uni.
I've had 3 outfits changes in this funny podcast.
I think, like, obviously once you're at uni, like, don't feel bad about dropping out. Don't feel bad about moving home and commuting in. like, don't feel bad about either of those things.
None.
Because, like,
Nada.
you're living your own uni experience, and like, that's not other people's decisions to make. Like, sometimes they may not understand your decision to, like, move back from the big city to a tiny hometown or whatever, but sometimes that's just a decision you need to make at the time. And also, you know, just like, you just got to make the decisions that you need, like, that feel best for you, and not feel influenced by a need to project an image of success. Like, I know for me, like, I'm sort of feeling like moving back closer to where I'm from almost feels like... So to me, I'll be honest, like, one of the feelings that I had was like, oh, I almost feel like it's a failure moving back and going home to where I came from.
Yeah.
And it's like actually realising, but it's not, because it's different.
Oh, it's always different.
First, I'm not moving back in home, like, I'm just moving to the general area. But it's like, I'm coming back.
Can I say one thing as well? Past self or your present self is how helping your future self. I want to bring up an example. So the Receipts podcast. There's a woman called Tolly T. Incredible. I love her. So she went to uni and then moved in back to her parents. Back to her mum's house. And she's just bought a house for herself. Like, she's 32. Her podcast, The Receipts, have just blown up. They've got, and they're sponsored by Spotify. Not sponsored by Spotify. You can only listen to it on Spotify. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that, all of that time where they might have been like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? It all paid off for future self now. They're able to have saved money and contribute to the goals and the blessings that they have later. And I just love that for her. I love that. We love you, Tolly T.
And I think it's like just totally, you kind of, you do have to just keep an open mind at uni. Like, you just can't predict what's going to happen. And also, if you have a rough first year, or you have a rough semester, or, you know, something, it's like, don't take that as a failure, because often, like, the times where you learn the most are the times that are the hardest. Like, I'd say I've learned the most during this pandemic, and that's like, obviously, look, I'm not like a suffer porn kind of person. Like, I don't go, oh yeah, you should work really hard to, you know, I don't think people should have to suffer to grow. But equally, don't think just because, like, don't think that all the people are having a really easy time, having a really great time, having a really chill time, are doing better than you. Because, like, they might just not be learning those lessons right now.
Literally that. Tell them, you're a prophet. Honestly, Josh. Like, but it's so true, because my mum always used to say to me, everyone's learning the same thing at different times. Yeah. And it's like, we can't sort of lose our heads nitpicking at why this person doesn't get it yet. That person will get it, just not with you, or not in the environment that you're in, or like eventually, because that's what happens in life. I generally think when people do nonsense, the nonsense follows them, but with a different group of people. And I think I just think that's karma. And I don't think I need to be a spiritual person to know that. I think I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
Well, it is, and I think it's just like, you know, especially when it comes to uni, also a big tip that got me through third year is...
I just realised something. We have lights. Should I bring lights downstairs?
We can just put on the ring light.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, but I mean, like, I've got, like, fairy lights.
Oh, I'll be all right.
Okay, sorry.
I'm usually one to go for fairy lights.
Yeah. Okay.
Might be a bit late.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's like, don't rate your studying, like, or don't compare yourself to others, especially when it comes to studying, because, like, I know this is one reason of many that I'm glad I didn't go to sixth form. Is I remember in GCSE people used to be like, oh, well, I studied for 12 hours last night, and it's like,
that's
and
I go,
I studied for like half an hour. And that was like the most I could do, and that was an achievement for me.
Exactly.
Because it's like on top of homework, on top of the whole day at school, it was like another half-hour revision was like actually a sort of achievement.
100%.
And, you know, that was kind of like, along with like all the other stress that I was going through. And it was like, And other people are like, oh, well, I study for 5 hours. That's not very much. Like, when people say stuff like that, they're just projecting their insecurities.
Oh, 100%.
Because they're insecure that they've not done enough. So they feel like they've been better than you. So then that makes them feel better and makes them feel less insecure. Mm-hmm. So if someone's sort of doing that, just like bat it away, because they probably haven't done that. And they're probably incredibly insecure about where they are. With like in terms of like their knowledge and stuff.
But the thing is, do you know what I've also learned and listened to since becoming in Manchester? Fucking everyone's insecure. It's just how you show it. Like me and you, I know us, so I can say that our insecurities don't manifest in a way that's harming others, and that's the difference between the good and bad side of jealousy. Because it's like, oh, I like this thing, I want to do it, but now I'm trying to put someone down because I don't have it. No, that's not healthy. And it's frustrating because some people like think because I'm the way who I am, things come easier to me or I deal with it better. No. I deal with it just as much as you. I just don't care for how you show it. Like, I'm not going to throw stones and hide my hands. If I throw stones, you're gonna know it's gonna be me, innit? Like, and I hate this sort of secretive and like not gas. What's the word? It's like a very sly, snide culture where
just sort of passive aggressive.
It's passive aggression, but also it's like competition.
Yeah, it's that competition, and it can just be so toxic.
But can I just say one thing? It's not just like adults can be competing with you, your peers could be competing with you, your friends could be competing with you, like, and are they your real friends? If so, like, no, like, nobody who gets higher or who gets fed by diminishing someone else, regardless of what the reason is healthy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sorry, I'm not like, I don't hang with jealous bitches. That's a weak disease. Like, I don't hang with jealous bitches. That's a weak disease. Whole Lot of Money. It's a song by BIA or Bia. And I don't know her name.
It's just, I think that when it comes to studying, the one thing that I learned is that, especially when I was doing like my app, just timing how much time I put into stuff, I was using that as a metric with myself.
Yeah.
Like, I was using that as a way of comparing myself with myself.
Yes.
So I'd say instead of feeling like I'm trying to catch up with other people, I'd be like,
up with you.
I'm trying to improve on what I did last week.
Yes.
So like, I did like 15 hours last week. Can I do 16? Can I do 17 this week?
Sick.
Like, can I do another library session this week? Like, can I improve on what I've done? And
sick.
You just don't. Because especially like people work at different speeds as well. So like someone's 12 hours might be your 2 hours, or your 2 hours might be someone's half hour. So like don't, like, it's so hard to compare like how hard you're working. And also like there's this whole idea like I do agree sometimes with the triangle of like, I mean, the triangle of project management is always like a true one. It's like time, money, quality, pick two.
Okay.
So that one's true.
I love that.
There's sometimes a triangle that goes around for uni, which is like good grades, sleep, going out. But it's like, and it's like pick two, but it's like, that's not really true. Like, you just have to balance the three.
Yeah.
And it's like also, you know, don't think that spending the whole week in the library from opening to closing is going to give you good grades, because it's kind of almost irrelevant, because what matters is what you actually do in the library. Like, you can put yourself through a bunch of suffering and not get anywhere. What you've got to do is you've got to, you know, just set yourself realistic goals, set yourself realistic targets, and also give yourself an incentive. Like, give yourself, say, if I get this done today, I'm going to go and get takeout. If I get this done today, I'm going to go out to this park tomorrow, or I'm going to go out and meet this person.
No, but that's so true, because if you're only comparing yourself to yourself and then you're gifting yourself from it, you're literally always winning.
Yeah.
You are literally always winning. Like, it's quite... you know what? This actually follows onto the final point of decoding the messes. It's to do with you in relationships versus you alone. And I've come to terms with the idea of, if you can't handle me at my worst, you can't have me at my best. And I'm accepting my shadow because I think that is a more proactive way to move in the world. Like, you see a lot of, like, I don't know, I see all these spiritual forums where people are like, oh, I just see the light in the world. I just see the light. And like, how dumb is that when all the darkness and the illusions and the hysteria of the society and the unknown are that you're forced with? And we can see that in the way that the government treats its people. We can see that in the way that we hoard resources. And I think if you know yourself, you know your metric, you compare yourself to past you're able to actually identify what you want and put the value of what you want.
And also, I think this kind of comes to the theme of our episode is don't be afraid to spend time in the darkness, because it's like sometimes people can fear going, like sometimes you fear having a bad experience at uni, sometimes you fear that you're missing out on something, sometimes sometimes you don't want to approach things because you think that it's going to impact on your idea of what something should be like, or you just want everything to be perfect, so you just completely gloss over all the things that are just falling apart.
Exactly.
And it's like I will stay on top of these towers. I don't care, these foundations are crumbling. I'm going to stay on the tower. You
know what? It's actually mad that you said that, because you remember Tasha Bailey from the Microaggressions podcast? She actually reshared this thing today, and it said instead of saying I'm fine, try I need a moment. It's been difficult, but I'm trying. I could really do with some support. Can we go for a talk? Go for a coffee to talk properly? How am I? It's complicated at the moment. And these are all like experiences, opportunities, and a capacity for a real answer. Like it's not like, you know, when you paint over the cracks and then you're wondering why things are breaking down. It's like you painted over the fucking cracks. You didn't do anything to set the foundation right.
And I think that what is sort of going on at the moment is that I've noticed, you know, you see this with the sort of the hustle culture of I worked 100 hours yesterday. I worked like, you know, you see these people having to portray like a perfect version of their life. Like you see a lot of influencers go online and they go like, yeah, so I wake up at 6 a.m. In the morning and I go and have a shower. I actually have a bath with ice, and that sort of awakens my adrenochromes inside of me and sort of really, it really sort of softens my pores. So I really enjoy doing that. Yeah. And then, you know, then I bathe in a vat of pure hydrochloric acid. And, you know,
don't do this at home, kids.
It stings sometimes, but, you know, I think it's really important to do because I just need to push myself further. And then I run 50 miles in an hour. And then I start working all day, and I stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning. Then at 1 o'clock in the morning I go to sleep, and then I wake up at 6 a.m. again. And it's just like, and all of these people like trying to portray like either they work really hard and their life is perfect because of it, or like they're just so great and they don't have any problems and they don't ever have to like struggle with anything.
But the thing is, it's like if you wouldn't. It's like you do it for the clout because like you want to show it. If you wouldn't put that on the content, you'd just give us the other content. You'd give us the MUAs. You'd give us the stylist of the week. You'd give us how I found myself videos. You wouldn't give me your routine. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And the routine that you accumulated from putting this content in for the last X months or X years. Do you know what I mean? It's boring. It's just
and it's
boring.
Like, it's like just, I think that sort of showing that honesty, and, you know, I actually feel it rubs me up. It doesn't annoy me as much when I see someone. I think the problem is that when either people have to try and show off about how much they suffered, you know, but show it off like it's a good thing and like it's something you should be going through as well. Or like when people, you know, try and create like inspirational videos when clearly the situation is just not inspirational. It's just
it's just like it's even how you can say how people use infographic to share messages, and it's just like, right, because an infographic message is really going to stop the hate to this community that's been happening for centuries.
I just love when people find like a pixel rationed image of a mountain and then just try and put like a really blurry quote on it, and it's like, you won't find yourself until you know yourself. But it's like, it doesn't mean anything, and it's also just like,
literally means nothing.
And it's like, it's also just trying to be like, there isn't going to be
fetch, and it's not fetch. Stop trying to make fetch trying to happen.
There isn't going to be a single quote that fixes your life. There's not going to be a single word.
Sorry, Josh, you're actually cracking me up today. You're cracking me up.
Like, I don't think I've ever been on Instagram and seen a quote and then just had that fix like a major issue for me. Like, things like, and that comes back to like uni. Like, don't expect moving to uni to fix your life. Don't expect a message on Instagram to fix your life. Like, these things can inform you.
They can advance you. They can expand you.
But they will not fix you.
No.
And they will not fix your situation.
Not at all.
And also, don't blame yourself for the situations.
Exactly. I think that's one thing that we should definitely take from Decoding the Message. Just loosen the critical voice in your head, because everybody has one. Everybody has one. Like, loosen it or lessen it enough so you can actually get up and do the things that you want to do.
Yeah, because sometimes the critical voice can just be self-destructive.
Exactly. Sometimes it's literally like self-sabotage.
It's literally self-sabotage. It's something I do so much.
I self-sabotage so much as well. Don't worry.
It's just like
why did I do that?
This and I'm just like, oh, I'm such an idiot for doing this. And it's like, well, I was an idiot for doing that, so I might as well do this as well.
Do you know what I mean? No, but it's so true.
And then you just fall into a pit where you're just doing things that are just progressively just worse and worse. And it's just like you never recover, and then you just end up in a pit of misery, and then you just kick yourself more about that and just do more self. It's just like, literally, it's like, well, the dagger's already in, so I might as well like jab it in a bit more. But
the thing is, like, we've definitely spoken about this card before. It's called the Ten of Swords in Tarot, and it's literally like this accumulation of 10 swords staggered into someone's back. Like, they can't get up. They've got 10 swords stabbed in their back, and swords are reflective of your thoughts and your opinions. So if you've got the mental exhaustion, the weight of that information prodding on you, the only thing you can do eventually is get up. Like, regardless of how painful it is, you can stay on the floor for a while. You can even stay there for a long time. You can even stay there for the rest of the days. But the thing is, realistically, you won't, because at some point you're going to realize, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm tired. Like, I remember when I was even like so depressed, like in my like pit of me depression in boarding school, I literally woke up one day and I was like, nah, fuck this, I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, and that prompted other things with me. Like, after that, I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm tired, I don't want to be depressed anymore. I found some new shows to watch. Whilst I was finding new shows to watch, I found a new job to do, and then I ended up getting paid, and that eventually helped my, like, happiness, my well-being. But it's annoying because it's literally like depression is exhausting. Putting yourself down is exhausting. So let's move and like do something about it.
And just if you go to uni and it's shit and you hate it, just don't self-sabotage afterwards. Like, there's just no reason for it. Like, I think the problem is we also just tend to set people up for self-sabotage.
Oh yeah, we all do.
We all portray these fantastic images of ourselves, and then people just are confused when their life doesn't meet up to that.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just like, but who told you? Who told you to do that? Society and like some other external thought. You could have just listened to yourself. You could have just listened to yourself. And regardless of what happens in the future, at least you know you listen to yourself. Because there's nothing worse than when there's an option and then there's the option that you want to do. You decide to go on the other one, and then you have to deal with the critical voice. You should have done it. Like, I just totally talked away throughout the majority of that. But it's that whole thing of like, I would rather only be annoyed at stuff that I chose to do than stuff that I guilted myself to doing. Yeah. You know?
Shall we go into Tarot Talks?
Oh, honey, you know we are. I'm burning sage, and I'm just gonna... I've cleansed myself. gonna cleanse
it's a bit hard to cleanse an open air space.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
although
it's the intention.
It's easier to cleanse an open air space.
Yeah, it's like the intention. So, like, let's say.
I mean, it's not like you need to hotbox the sage, right? No,
but it's like I'm doing this on my cards because every time I use a deck, I want to make sure the energy and the the energy's just been removed, that deck. I always ask for no projections. I always ask for clarity, and I always ask for. Well, I just hope this is a timeless message, regardless of whenever you use it, or no, whenever you listen to this. And I just hope that something can resonate with you today. So I'm just gonna sage these bloody cards.
Do you want me to hold the lighter for you or something?
No, I'm actually gonna ask you to hold.
I'll hold the mic like that.
That's very kind of you, Josh. I'm actually going to start with something different. I'm going to start with a... Sorry, this is killing me, sorry. I'm going to do this. Can I do this? Do you think that's handy?
I think I'll just hold it.
Really?
Or...
Should I move closer?
Yeah. Oh, you've got the XLR cable. There we go.
Okay, amazing. So I'm going to start differently. I'm going to start with some affirmation cards. This is the spiritual seasoning for the soul. Is there anything that you want to ask Spirit?
I want to ask Spirit how I think how we can best be sort of forgiving of ourselves and open to following what we feel is best in our hearts.
Amazing.
Like,
it's like how can we follow
how can we best
voice?
follow how can we best follow how can we best follow our authentic voice?
Amazing.
I like that.
I'm going to start with these decks. Spirit, higher power, universe. How can we best nurture our authentic voice? Forgive yourself first.
I mean, that's pretty...
Any more cards, Spirit? Is it a friendship if you feel so unsettled?
I mean, that's basically first semester friendships. Freshers friendships.
Okay, I know what this is going to be.
This kind of, yeah.
So, the first three cards that we got was forgive yourself first. Is it a friendship if you feel so unsettled? You are already whole. And I think these three cards are sort of depicting the energies of you will always stick with yourself. You're always going to be in your body. So you need to be happy with the decisions that you make. You also need to make sure that those decisions are like they protect you, they nourish you, they feed you. Forgiving yourself first is one way of doing that. If you allow yourself to understand that you're not complete, you're not you don't have everything, you don't have all the information, you're able to move through the world with a bit more softness because you give the benefit of the doubt that you constantly give to others, you can give to yourself. You can give to yourself. And isn't that such a cognitive disbelief? It's like,
I've also said if you're going to do something, try and at least do it with intent.
Yes.
Like don't just let yourself be guided into it. Like I was talking to my driving instructor, I said look, if I'm going to fail with intent. I'm going to terrify the driving instructor. I'm nearly going to crash. If I'm going to fail my test, then it might as well be because we just got hit by a truck.
That's hilarious.
Or drove into a canal. I want it to be with intent. If I'm going to fail, I'm going out with a bang.
I hope you don't fail because I know that you're going to need those licenses.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get my test done before I leave Manchester.
But that's okay.
I'm going to get an e-bike.
There you go. Treat yourself.
I'm going to get a scooter and use the tram.
Oh, well, that's lovely. See, look at you. You've got all these things to do. But it just gives you opportunity to expand, doesn't it? This conversation around yourself, friendships, relationships, regardless if they're platonic or romantic, suggests that you might be seeking, not you, Josh, but we, spirit, the universe, people, whoever's listening to this podcast, might be seeking something outside of ourselves. So that's why we constantly look for reassurance, validation, support. But really, if we see it in someone else, we have it in ourselves. We just see it in them more. Does that make sense?
And also ask about yourself, are the people you're hanging around with, are you hanging around with them because you want to, or are you hanging around with them because it validates you?
Exactly.
Which is a massive thing that people do freshers weeks.
Oh, 100%. Like oh my God.
It's all the Instagram posts that are like, please validate me. Please make me feel validated.
But can I just say one thing that like black women know? Like, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on the podcast or not, but like people literally in uni would just see me as a black woman with colourful hair and like a cool top or like whatever, and they'd be like, oh my God, I want her to be my friend. And it's just like, fuck off. Like, don't you put me in this like pedestal just because you see this cool black girl with a blonde beaded look. Do you know what I mean? Like,
because they want to feel validated that they're
exactly.
Like,
they want to feel cool and supported. Honey, like, you don't see me when I'm binge watching Superstore, got bloody cookies, all breadcrumbs all over my fucking room. Like, you don't see that side to me. So please stop putting me on this environment where you need to seek validation from me, because that's not the case. I want to go back to this card. Is it a friendship if you feel so unsettled? No. Like,
no.
Straight up, no. I don't know how quickly I can say this, just because one thing that I've definitely learned with my spiritual journey is the fact that patterns occur with people, and these people will happen to you in your life, but these people might not even know each other. Yeah. So you can't be complaining about the circus when you keep on choosing, like, you can't complain about clowns if you keep on going to the circus, right? Yeah. And that's the whole thing.
That's very true.
No, but it's the whole thing of like, you need to be choosy of your friends. You need to be choosy of your relationships. You need to be choosy of the people that you allow into your life. Because realistically, you're feeding them, but are they feeding you in the same way? You know, how is it receptive? Like, even now, me and you, we both have a project. We're working together. Yeah. We've put in effort. We've also I've had to work to your schedule. You've had to work to my schedule. Yeah. We both want to be here. So I know that this friendship can evolve with each other. However, let's say if I was a shitty podcaster and I was just like, when you came in, I never had the content ready. Or if you came in and I never had... like, I told you things last minute, or like I was like having a go at you for like just dumb shit. Like, that wouldn't be fair, and that would mean that if I'm causing you a settlement, that your choice to go, your choice to leave, it needs to be balanced. Or even if, let's say, like, you know loads of technical stuff and I might know more like the content stuff, but that's where we meet in the middle, because we're able to pick and use our resources from each other and go back and forth. Yeah. And I think this is a model relationship. This is a model relationship of how you can choose to work with each other with the resources that you have. However, how many times do we not bring that up in friendship settings because we're uncomfortable, we don't want to, like... The blessing in the fact is that we've got a project that's brought us together that we can work on. But let's say if we were friends and then we had the project, it might have been even harder, because we're like, oh, but we don't want to do this, but we don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, this card has literally come out throughout the whole year of 2021, 2020, and I've had to look at myself like, is that your friend? No. Is that your friend? No. Is that your friend? No. Like, are they colorist? Are they an energy vampire? Are they snide? Are they jealous? And I'm tired of it. I'm going to start putting more people on trial, because just as much as I provide light to others, they should provide light to me, you know? And I think that should stand with every single person that comes into your life.
But I think, like, you know, as well, I think it's just making sure that, you know, I mean, it's not always going to be easy sailing, even with everyone. But
not at all.
But, you know, I think that it's just trying to make sure that you feel like you can talk to people as if they're your peers. You don't feel like you're, you know, trying to accommodate. Obviously, you know, treat everyone with respect and like, don't just, but like, you know, you should make sure that you feel confident to, because, you know, I've made that mistake. I felt, you know, not confident enough to say something even to people I'm close with, and then sometimes that doesn't end up being like a good that can just be, but it's, you know, it's just like making sure that you just feel, I think sometimes a lack of confidence can cause a lot of damage. Things. And, you know, you can cause a lot of damage to yourself. So I think you've just got to, and you also need to recognize when other people are showing signs that they're not confident.
Okay. You know what? You give me inspiration. Can you hold this mic? So, what you just said, I'm going to pull 3 cards. First card, how can we raise our confidence? Second card, how can we see if people's lack of confidence is influencing us? And then advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, spirit, higher power. Can I have a card, please? Actually, I'm being pulled to go like this instead. 8. Do you see that? Did I tell you 10 of Swords?
10 of Swords.
Okay. Oh, well, I accidentally put 2 cards up. Okay. So, I just asked, how can we raise the confidence in ourselves? And it's quite funny because this is actually the first card that always came up to me in tarot. So the King of Wands is an entrepreneur. They're professional. They're proactive. They're a passionate person. However, if their passion is overbearing, they can become arrogant, or they can become like impatient. And the King of Wands asks you to be patient with yourself. The King of Wands knows their fire. They know what they bring to the table. So they need to find a manageable way to deal with the fuel they need to know what fuels them. If I'm asking, how can we raise our confidence? The first thing it said, forgive yourself first. And now it's come with the King of Wands. The King of Wands knows their worth. They're able to access their worth by trial and fire. They really know that they're on the right path, or they're on the long path. And that's why you see so many salamanders on their jacket and on their throne, because it literally is trial by fire, putting yourself out there, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. But the king is a master of their suit, so they know that their strengths and their weaknesses are only help. It literally, they don't think, oh, my weaknesses are really bad. They know they have strengths, they have weaknesses, but all of it is just assistance.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great attitude to move with, because you're able to be a bit more concerning and receptive with who you're directing your fire to. It's like, am I putting my fire in this project? Am I putting my fire in this relationship? Am I putting this fire in my business? Like, everyone is different, and it just shows you how to manage it. The next card we got is the 10 of Swords, and it's quite funny because the 10 of Swords is literally the card that we were talking about earlier.
The 10 of Swords is a vibe.
And the 10 of Swords is, it's a card with a figure with plunged swords in their back. If swords are to do with your mental intellect, then your information has burnt you out. You are drained, you're exhausted, you're tired, but you're also lying down. This is all in your mind. So, I mean, you could physically be lying down, but also it could just be how your mind has just taken you off course, and you just need a minute to deal with it. But this card comes up to say, like, it cannot get any worse than this. It literally, the darkest time is before, no, is it like the darkest hour is before dawn? And it just talks about, like...
I'm just going to introduce some more light.
Shall we put the ring light on?
I'll put it on while you keep talking.
Okay. The cable's there. But, when I see the energy of this card, it's very like, well, it's exhausted, but it's also action. Like, the guy has his fingers crossed as well, so he's hoping for something to come forward, but it's him that has to come forward. He's the one who has to stand up. But the thing is, with a card in this position, you only know how to get yourself up. Like, I'm not going to tell someone who's mentally depressed, like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like, don't you worry about it. Things will all get better, because they might not, but you do. And you can use your pain as a lesson to get from A to B. I see a lot of hope and a lot of optimism, because the next cards that you get is the Sun and the Knight of Pentacles. And the Sun is to do with your external expression of things. The Sun is to be bold, to be daring, to be youthful, to be excited, to put the past behind you and sort of live in the moment, live in the present as your most... I don't want to say just content self, but like your most like... valued self, your most quality, like high quality self, because the Sun sort of puts whatever is behind them, then uses, they're able to find the silver lining in things when you see the Sun card, but it's the fact that This energy is different, you know. I feel like, because the thing is, the card is actually, oh my goodness, that's actually so big. So bright. It's so bright. I think, so the last cards came out as a pair. It was the Sun and the Knight of Pentacles, and it was under You Are Already Whole. The Sun is to do with coming out to the world, finding the silver lining and things. But the Knight of Pentacles gives you the practical and slow and steady solutions to that change. So maybe this is a question to your self-development. Maybe this is asking you to be more integral with your truths so that you can walk on your path. This path might be a slow and long journey because you see this horse, they're standing still. They've got their armor, they're protected, but they're using the sort of practicality of their dreams to keep on going. Like, what is their day-to-day steps? What are their monthly steps to keep it going? Because realistically, the things that you want, whether it's a loving relationship, whether it's an amazing career or good friends, they might not all show up tomorrow. You might meet your best friend tomorrow or your future best friend tomorrow, but it will take from that moment plus X or plus 8 months for them to actually become the best friend, because there's trials and tribulations. You go out for dinner, you might not. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many different things which determine what the relationship could be. And I think this card is saying to be more patient with how you perceive it, be more patient with how you walk with your journey, because the Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady, and he knows that his value is in the quality of what he brings, but he's not going to come off with a half-assed job. He's going to do it good, and he's going to do it well, and it's going to be like tight, like it's going to be like beautiful. Like, you know, Tauruses, they're very sensual people, but the fact that it's come with the Sun means that you need more hope and optimism on the journey. Do you know what? It's so weird saying that, because like, even though I'm a spiritual babe, an optimistic babe, like when I'm in my lows, you can't fucking tell me shit, because it's like, you see me do positive shit, you see me fucking do positive shit, and it's not fucking working. Like, that is literally me on a bad day. And like, the Sun encourages you to adopt a new truth and a youthful attitude, because the change comes in the goals. Your change comes in your daily routines, you know? Mezen, what do you have to say about these cards?
Yeah, I think that actually I kind of want to go with my direct message.
Oh, amazing. You want to go direct message, right? Okay.
Yeah. I think that I want to say that I think this sort of further reflects, like, you can go into some situations, and people love doing this. They love gaslighting themselves. They love, like, I don't know, like pulling the wool over their own eyes, or just pretending that they don't see something, just to sort of cover up something else that they're feeling. And it's like, are you friends with this person because you need to feel validated, or are you friends with this person because you like spending time with them, or are you doing this degree in law because you want it to make you feel validated, or are you doing it because you actually really enjoy the subject? And, you know, if you know that you're going in because you want to feel validated, that's fine. Just know that's what you're going in for.
Exactly.
Like, know that you're doing that because you want to prove someone wrong, but like, know that's what you're there for. Like, don't kid yourself that, like, you may hate the subject, but like, at least know if you hate the subject why you're there.
No, for sure, because like when you do things with intent, you're directing your energy elsewhere, and you're directing your energy where it wants to go. And if you're not directing your energy, your energy is still there regardless if you direct it. And I remember listening to Leona Nicole Black. She said, if your energy is not directionally put to use, then it's being commodified. It's being taken and restructured and put somewhere else. And when you understand that energy, literally everybody's made up with energy, whether it's good vibes, bad vibes, a mixture of both. It's quite funny because whilst you were talking, the Queen of Wands popped up, and this is literally my card. It correlates to my birthday, and this card also came up on Tatiana Tarot's Instagram, and I've reshared it today, and it just makes me laugh because I love this card because it reminds me to use my strengths and my weaknesses and go for it. With any queen that's in tarot, you've got this is the Queen of Wands. they're a fiery person. However, because they're a queen, they also have nurturing, passive water energy. Water and fire, you know they ain't great together.
Yeah.
But do you know what that means as the Queen of Wands? As my Aries sun and my Pisces sun in sidereal for your astrology babes, that means I'm resourceful as fuck. It means that I'm able to pull from different places of myself and provide information with what I've got. And it means that I'm not going to be wishy-washy about how it's going to be received, because I know my fucking worth. Are these people not sitting? Why do you want to sit on a horse when you could be sitting on thrones? Why do you want to be lying down when you could literally be sitting on thrones? And this is what confirms the message. I'm a magnet attracting love in its purest form. Love is always available to us. It is sometimes available in a form that we are not accustomed to seeing it. Trust that you are love and therefore you attract love. Look for love's presence everywhere you go. Isn't that what Spirit wants to remind us before we leave Volume 1 or wherever we go in our lives? I want this to be so drilled on our heads that we found it in Manchester. I can find it anywhere. Yeah. Whether if it's like a friendship or a job opportunity, I found that confidence. I found myself getting out of the bed in the morning. So I went forwards, you know? And I think like it's just really, really empowering because I've been going through it. Going through it, but sitting here, it feels like nothing's happened because I'm able to use the information and directly talk about it to you, who's a friend that will understand where it's coming from. But then also, people might even resonate with it on telly. Not telly, YouTube. Well, YouTube telly.
YouTube telly. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Good.
That is honestly like... come all tenfold. You started your direct message, so I'm gonna go into direct message as well. And well, for the last time, this is our take-home messages for the Volume 1, guys. Stay true to yourself. Follow your own metric.
And don't try and hide things from yourself.
Yeah, because the thing is, you're only slowing the journey that you're going to be on anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the example I was gonna bring up was like, Boris sitting in number 10 writing his book about Shakespeare whilst like the initial COVID meetings were going on. And they were like, and then he was just like, I can just ignore this and it will go away. Or, you know, I can just pretend this isn't happening. And then all he did was, not only did he delay the journey he was going on, he also made it worse for him and 65 million other people. Mm-hmm.
But then it also shows you his like lack of... like people think like, okay, so let's say you give me, okay, so I have a problem now and I avoid it or ignore it. The problem doesn't change shape. Normally it gets bigger. Like, do you know what I mean? Realistically, if I avoid
if it's a virus, it's growing exponentially whilst you wait.
Exactly that. And like, obviously we're using the example of Boris, but in more maybe relatable examples as well, like when you avoid something, it does normally, like I've never avoided something and it's still saying the same, like this could even be a uncomfortable conversation with a friend. Something might have pissed me off, let's say in February, but then because I didn't bring it up and let's say I didn't bring it up till like September, now it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Every time someone you avoid something, it gets bigger. So maybe just be honest with yourself, because even if you have avoidant tendencies, maybe you can talk to them in therapy.
It's like a mold in the bathroom. You see the mold in your bathroom, you're like, ooh, that's gross. I don't want to deal with that right now. And then
it grows. Did you see the mold in our bathroom?
I did.
Do you remember?
I mean, it can't be any... I'm going to get a cleaner in before I move out of my flat because it's fucking... I
mean, when we first moved in, did you see that mold?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was honestly, guys, it was terrifying. Like, there was mold in our bathroom and it honestly, like, it looked like it was eating the walls. I mean, it was eating the walls, but like in a more of a intentional way. Like, it didn't look like... It looked like it was alive.
I mean, it is alive, technically.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's an orgasm.
Orgasm?
No, not orgasm. An organism, for fuck's sake. Oh my goodness. How many times? That's probably
one of your best word substitutions yet.
It's a Freudian slip. But do you know what pisses me off? How many times have we done that? How many times have I done... Do you know what we need before?
Sarah's brain just substitutes words.
All the time.
It's literally like you have autocorrect built in.
Oh my God, yeah. But like,
I
okay.
mean, you just try and say fucking instead you say ducking.
No, but it's true. Like, how many times have I accidentally said something else? But back to the direct message before we get distracted. What's your direct message? I mean,
just don't pull your wool over your eyes. Like,
yes,
just do things. Just at least like, just try and not obscure information from yourself. Mm-hmm. Just try and be honest. Like, you've just got to be honest with yourself. Like, just don't try and pretend something's working or make something work because you feel like you have to. Mm-hmm. You've just got to be, the primary thing is you've got to be honest with yourself. And also, you know, obviously when it comes to uni, just don't make your decisions at uni based on validation. Make your decisions based on what you feel is best for you, because ultimately, if you're going to find if you're actually going to find success and, you know, validation, then, and for some people, you know, validation is for them success, that's all they care about. So, but like, you know, I mean, a lot of the time people think that what they want is validation, but what they actually want is happiness.
Yep.
And stability. So I think, you know, just focus on yourself, and if you focus on finding what makes you happy, you may not even need the validation in the end.
Tell them. Said like a true poet. Thank you so much, Josh. That was a beautiful direct message. I don't think I have any more to add. I'm really, really pleased with what we've done over this series, this volume. I'm really impressed with how we've pushed ourselves, and like, yeah, just thank you. I know you like, I've chilled with you a lot, but also thanks Joe. Like, without good media, this wouldn't have been as a success as it has been. So like, I'm really, really, really appreciative of everything that you guys have helped me with. Mate, this has been sick. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, volume 1.
Well, now it's time to get you familiar with editing software.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be fun.
That is the one time of me doing a full-time job.
But no, I'm excited, and I'm just excited for the future, and I know that we've got good things coming for us. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more projects together in the future.
Definitely.
And I'm excited for what the future holds. It's amazing. Well, I guess we have to exit out. It's kind of sad. I'm getting a bit emotional. Can you exit first?
Thanks for watching DM Talks. This isn't going to be the last episode of DM Talks.
It's not going to be the last episode of DM Talks, but it's going to be the last episode for a while.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks for watching. It'll probably be released in like a couple months anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So I know by then you'll already be working on the next one.
Oh, honey, I've already emailed the next guest. I know I'm like. Well, I'm the king of wands, isn't it? Like, I'm a very fiery person. I need to put
You can't. I know that. I don't. It's like, you know, I don't see how this is the last episode of DM Talks for a while.
I think it's going to be the last episode for volume 1, but I've got plans. I've got things for volume 2, and I've even got like things in between those things. So, you know, you never know what happens, but I'm really excited, and I'm really happy with how successful and how good things have been in volume 1. Like, we literally started a year ago.
Yeah, over a year ago.
We were over a year ago, but I mean, we started a year ago, and look, were we recording outside a year ago? No. Exactly. So we're bad bitches. Tell them. Thank you so much for listening. I've been your host, Sarah DM, aka DM.Seerah, aka Bad Bitch, aka Infectious Energy Warning. Do you have any nicknames for me that you call me behind my back?
No.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's kind of peak having the name Sarah, because
Sarah.
Sarah is just Sarah in it. But look at me, I'm digressing now. Well, I was about to say you can catch us next week, but you can't, because I won't be there. But I've enjoyed it. Please interact with us. You know, we're still on DM Talks.
Catch us next volume.
Yeah, catch us the next volume. Send it to your friends and tell it to your partners and send it to everybody, because, you know, I'm sure they're going to be loving this episode too. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye now. Bye. That's it.